Whether you want to improve your drive-bys, or you want to jump on the windows to surprise your enemy with an angle he didn't even know existed, the right set of keybinds will make it possible for you. Hi there, I'm Nox, and today we're gonna talk about keybinds. The correct setup of keybinds can improve your experience, and the incorrect set of keybinds can keep you from growing as a player. To start off, we're gonna talk about vaulting and jumping. As a default, it's set to a single key, which is spacebar, and whether you jump or vault is determined by how far away are you from the obstacle. On the plus side, it makes it simpler, but at the same time it limits you. You will find yourself a lot of times in a situation when you just wanted to jump and you vaulted, and when you wanted to vault, you jumped, and possibly fell off the building. So separating those into two different keybinds is definitely a recommended option. For jumping, I leave space, and as for vaulting, I go with N. The problem with N is it's also a keybind to extend your minimap, therefore you need to change that keybind or just delete it. The extend map keybind is pretty useless, but if you still want to keep it, I recommend going Shift plus N. The reason I go with N is because it's above my spacebar and it's pretty easy to access with my thumb. Separating those two keys will allow you to do a thing called window jumping or crouch jumping, which basically means jumping on frames of the windows. In order to do the crouch jump, you don't actually have to crouch jump. All you have to do is run towards the window and jump at the correct time. You can practice this in training grounds, and it will allow you to also get in places you wouldn't be able to get before. I will talk about crouch jumps in a separate video focused solely on movement. ADS, which is an acronym for aim down sights, is initially set to toggle. That means every time you click your right mouse button, on release you will aim down sights, while on hold you have the aim feature, which is a hip fire aiming. The problem with that is you aim on release of the key, and that actually makes it slower to aim down sights. By switching ADS to hold, you will be able to aim faster and probably win more gunfights. As for the aim hip fire feature, it's very situational and the trade-off is just not worth it. Next on we have a quick marker, and I think that's one of the most important things that every team player should have set up. On default, you can quick mark by clicking Alt and the middle mouse button. It is not that bad, but what you want to do is want to set it up on your left click. By setting it on left click, you will be allowed to mark for your teammates on their compasses and your own the direction of where you're shooting at. It will allow you to give them information without even speaking, but I do still recommend to give proper information if you can. But in a heated moment you might just lack time to do that, and them having at least the direction that you're shooting towards on their compasses is definitely gonna be a huge help. And now it's time for the settings that can help you improve your drive-bys. On default, to change your seat you need to click Ctrl 1, 2, 3 or 4. If you want to drive bars more effectively, drive-bys being shooting people out of your car even if you're driving solo, you might want to switch those settings a bit up. In order to do the drive-by, you need to keep holding W when switching your seat, because if you don't hold the W while changing seats, your character is gonna start braking and the car is gonna stop shortly after that. I recommend setting it up to E and Q because those keys are easily accessible and they do nothing in a car. Going along with the topics of vehicles, we're going to the bike settings. Steering the bike initially is set to control and spacebar. The problem is when you're driving on a hill and you're trying to brake but your bike accidentally takes off, you might just flip and kill yourself. I recommend setting them to your additional mouse buttons, but if you do not have the additional mouse buttons, you can just set it up to Q and E. As for leaning left and right, it's very rare that you will have to use those because your bike balances itself when it comes to left and right. There is a small issue with our previous keybind, which is switching the seats, and switching the seats also applies to the bike. So if you want to steer our bike with Q and E, we might accidentally switch places, and that of course could get us killed. So if you want to use Q and E, you have to go back to the seat settings and switch them to something like Alt E and Alt Q. This will allow you to control your bike way better and lower the suicide count on the bike. With the topic of surviving, it's not only important to control the bike, but also to use your meds, and decreasing the time of your healing will definitely help you survive longer. By setting up the correct keybinds on your healing, you will be able to heal without going to your inventory, therefore saving time and also being able to see more what's going on around you. The use heal item and use boost item will use the strongest boost/heal items in your inventory. There is a small problem with that, because let's say you use the painkiller, so you need an energy drink to be fully boosted, but your character is using the painkiller again. You can avoid that by setting up individual keybind, but also if you don't have that many keybinds, you can just only set up the energy drink and bandage as separate keybinds. Additionally, if you're setting anything for control 1, 2, 3, 4, you might want to change the keybinds of vehicle seats. One thing you can do is unbind the settings from changing the vehicle seats. Another part of our utility that we can optimize to use faster is usage of smoke grenades. Of course you can do it for any grenade, but I think smoke grenades are the most important ones, because those grenades are the ones you're gonna be pulling out when you're getting shot at in the open or when your teammates go goes down, and those couple seconds of going to inventory or using the grenade wheel might get you killed. I recommend setting smoke grenades on J because it's pretty easily accessible. Setting it to J will unbind your inspect weapon keybind, therefore you will have to set up a different keybind for that. Last keybind I recommend changing is the reticle/zeroing keybind. Initially it's set up on page up and the page down, which is an extremely bad keybind placement. I recommend setting it up on control and additional mouse buttons and reset zeroing on control and middle mouse button. But it will allow you to switch your reticle and also zero with an 8x way quicker than using page up and page down. If you do not have additional mouse buttons, you can go with Ctrl J and Ctrl H. Those will be about all the keybinds I recommend switching, and if you survived to the end of the video, I hope it was at least a bit of help to you. Also, if you enjoyed it and you would like to see more, make sure to like and comment to let me know your thoughts, and if you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe to stay updated. And once again, thanks for watching.